Screencast is going to cover Chapter 8 in the Photoshop series, and we're going to do lessons 2, 3, and 4 combined on this one. What we just ended up doing was taking that kid that was that soccer player was right here, and we just removed him. And so what we're going to do now is looking at aligning some layers. Let's look at the running players layer. So the running players layer, let's say we wanted to find the very center point of both of these images and align them so they're both level. So what you do is you'd start over here in the layers palette and you would select both layers. So I'm going to hold down Command to select both layers. Okay, now with both of those selected, if I go up to layer on the menu, I go into align, I can say vertical centers or horizontal centers. I want vertical centers because that keeps them on their side. This is the same thing that was kind of like in PowerPoint if you ever used the alignment tools in PowerPoint. Very similar, just a little different in Photoshop. Okay, let's talk about transforming a layer using some scale. We've already done a little bit of this. Let's go to the referee layer. Let's turn the referee on. So let's say he's too big and we don't want to add all that. Let's do a Command T. I'm going to hold Shift as I'm in the corner and I'm going to shrink him down till about right there is probably good. I'm going to hit Enter to enter those commands. And we already know that right now as we've been working. Just make sure you hit Enter to make those changes. Let's go to the single player layer. And on the single player layer, let's say we want this guy over here on the other side, so we need to flip it. So just a reminder again of how we do that. We can go to Layer. No, I'm sorry. We go to Edit, Transform, Flip. Now, vertical would be up and down, horizontal would be left and right. So we go flip horizontal, and we shift him over to the side, and that's how we can flip and move things. Now we're going to look at is controlling pixels to blend actual colors. So where we're going to start is we're going to start on the single player layer. Now while there, here's another way you can bring up that layer style. So if I just double click the single player layer, I get that layer styles box. So we've been working a little bit in this so far. But one thing we haven't talked about is how to just use the blending options, the default piece. For example, let's say we wanted to add a drop shadow. Let's just add drop shadow without going to the drop shadow. Notice how I click the checkbox and nothing changes, but if I click on drop shadow itself, it changes to the properties of drop shadow. Let's go back up and click on blending options. So the blending options themselves give you some tools that you can use to change some things. Where it says blend if, keep in mind I'm on blending options, blend it if it's blue. So it says blend if blue, take this black caret key right here and drag it over. Oh. And see what you get. Notice that he starts to kind of just fade and burn away. We're going to crank it up to about 20. So he's going to be faded a little under the armpits and a little bit on the head. So about 20 on that. Just kind of something different we can look at. Let's click OK. Let's try another one. Let's go to the running players layer. And let's double click that layer to pull up the layer styles box. And let's stay on that blending options default mode. And let's say blend it if red this time. There's a lot of red on those. And I'll say if it's red, let's blend it. And let's drag the red down this time. It's going to start burning out his face and the red stripes and the orange on the jersey. I'm going to come down to about 181 on this one. So it starts to burn it out and you can actually see through it. It's kind of a cool look. Real matrix style. Click OK. So we have kind of our image here. Looks a little messed up. That's okay. Now, if you've got a mask on, like we previously have a mask on the opposition layer, let's say we wanted to get rid of it. So go ahead and click on the opposition layer. So you would go to then layer, layer mask, disable. If you disable it, that guy from the Goonies is going to reappear because you disabled the actual layer. But if you want to undo that, then just go to your histories palette and just drop it back one. So I'm going to leave it like that. That's going to conclude Chap 8, 2, 3, 4.